Is peace ever possible?
Oh, absolutely. I think that I referred earlier to the Amnesty International report on apartheid. So what Zionists, like the other guests, like to somehow ignore is the fact that Israel governs about 7 million Palestinians. Now, 2 million of these 7 million Palestinians happen to be citizens of Israel, and while they do enjoy voting rights, they are as is very well stated in the apartheid report, do live in an apartheid state, albeit Israel has different bureaucracies and different laws for the Palestinians who live in different places. The Palestinians who live in the West Bank and the Gaza Strip don't even have don't have law any they live under military, basically military occupation, so they have no rights whatsoever within that context of the apartheid state. But there's no question that there's a single state from the river to the sea, and that is the apartheid state of Israel. Now, um, and there's plenty of examples. The Amnesty report is well documented, and they've worked on it for many years, and it should be brought to light and used more often. Now, the possibility of peace between Israelis and Palestinians exists if we, and this is why I and many others support what is known to be the supporters of Palestine, and this is really a misunderstanding or a misphrasing of what it is that people like myself and others stand for. Supporting Israel means supporting an apartheid regime and genocidal violence against the
One person,
Palestinians.
one vote state.
We've seen that over 75 years. Supporting the cause for justice, for liberty, for equality in Palestine also means supporting the possibility of peace between Israelis and Palestinians. Israelis and Palestinians can live in peace under a regime that is not a racist, violent regime, under a regime that is not an apartheid state. When the apartheid state is dismantled, as I believe it will be very soon, when the apartheid state that you call Israel is dismantled and replaced with a free, democratic Palestine with equal rights, which is what Palestinians have been calling for decades, when that happens, we will see the possibility of Israelis and Palestinians living in peace in that land materialize, and then they can start to build this collaboration between these two nations, between Israelis and Palestinians. But as long as the apartheid state continues to exist, we will not be able to see peace, because as we see historically, and you talk about my father, I can tell you a great deal about my father. Historically, we see that peace has never been an objective of any Israeli government. War has been the objective, occupation, and maintaining itself as the toughest player in the region. And I'll say it again: dismantling the apartheid state and creating a free, democratic Palestine with equal rights is precisely the way we get to peace between Israelis and Palestinians. So it's definitely possible. And I believe it is. And I believe it is inevitable, actually.
Okay. Ivan, I want to give you a chance to respond, but as well as I want to ask you a question that Miko actually put forward. He mentioned Amnesty International, and he said their reports. What's your thoughts on that?
Like many other NGOs, I don't really respect the integrity or the independence of such organisations. I'm afraid that they've been discredited time and time again in their lack of objectivity and
You don't like them.
Transparency. The truth is that you cannot call a one-person, one-vote state where Arab parties have actually recently, Islamist parties actually, served in the government, where Supreme Court judges are Arabs. You cannot call such a country an apartheid state. The truth is, whether you like the outcome of Israeli elections or not, it is the only democracy in the region. Hamas don't respect women's rights. They don't respect minorities' rights. They want to impose their fundamentalist ideology on the people of Gaza, and indeed, given the chance, on the people of the West Bank. Now, so this trotting out this apartheid word time and time again. How can a one-person, one-vote state be an apartheid state?
It's not a one-person
state which allows parliamentarians from the Arab communities to serve in parliament be an apartheid state. How can a state that allows Arabs to serve on the Supreme Court be an apartheid state? It just is not based.
Read the report and you'll see.
It's not
Read the report.
fact or truth.
Read the report, and you'll see how it's possible.
It is language which is used.
Read in the report, and you'll see how it's possible.
Now, I'm going to respond to your substantive point, which is about, I want to answer the question, which is about the prospects for peace.
Yeah.
Because on all sides of the argument, I would hope people want to see peace and justice. So my view would be that the first thing that has to happen is Hamas have to be defeated in this war for once and for all, and their terrorist apparatus and leadership has to be dismantled, and they can have no future part in the running or the control of Gaza. Second of all, there has to be normalization, I hope, between Saudi Arabia and Israel as soon as this war is over, or as soon as possible after the war is over. And I believe that once that happens, it will change the nature of the whole relationship between much of the Arab world, much of the Jewish world, and Arabs and Muslims around the world. So that is absolutely crucial. By the way, it's one of the reasons why Iran insisted that Hamas did what they did at the moment. The last thing Iran and Hamas want is normalized relations between the Saudis and the Israelis. And the third element of this is the world has to get real about the threat of Iran. Whatever needs to be done has to be done to prevent Iran getting a nuclear weapon. So I would argue, as part of having got rid of Hamas's capacity and capabilities, having reached an agreement, normalized relations between Israel and the Saudis, I believe that part of that agreement, there has got to be an agreement about the governance of Gaza and the West Bank, which gives the Palestinians maximum autonomy, certainly no military capacity. There can be no military capacity, maximum autonomy, and a massive economic investment program for both the Gaza and the West Bank. And also a signing of a piece of paper which says full and final resolution. What full and final resolution means is that we give up our aspirations and our ambitions to destroy the world's only Jewish state, because those Israelis, Jews around the world are never, ever going to agree to any process which does not preserve and protect the world's only Jewish state. It is our only insurance policy against what has happened to Jews through the generations and in the most horrendous circumstances during the Holocaust. So no, the vast majority of Jewish people around the world, the vast majority of Israelis will never support any resolution which does not protect beyond any reasonable doubt the security of a Jewish state, the state of Israel. Alongside that, though, I fully support the notion of maximum autonomy, dignity, and the best possible quality of life and standard of living for all Palestinians, but they cannot be governed by people who are committed to the destruction of the state of Israel. No other democracy in the world would tolerate a scenario where they reached an agreement with a neighbouring entity or country that was controlled by terrorists committed to its destruction.